In this video, we will reveal the truth of 7 Hollywood A-listers who have committed 7 deadly sins. Pride. Kanye West. Pride is the first deadly sin and probably the most irritating of the 7. This is when a person becomes so narcissistic and self-absorbed that he starts to think everyone and everything is beneath him. And of course, there is no better example of celebrities drowned in pride than Kanye West. He has gained both admiration and criticism for his outspoken and bold personality. However, he has also made it quite evident that he is very proud of himself and his achievements, be it his attention-seeking fashion statements or the world's most self-indulgent name for his own daughter. Kanye West has proved time and time again that he is by far the proudest celebrity ever. If naming his daughter North West doesn't seem narcissistic to you, Kanye West once said, "I am God's vessel, but my greatest pain in life is that I will never be able to see myself perform live." He is not only a self-proclaimed genius, but he is also the most egotistic guy and is not afraid to admit. He said, "One of my biggest Achilles heels has been my ego. And if I, Kanye West, the very person, can remove my ego, I think there's hope for everyone." He's also known for persistently calling out artists who think they're not as talented as him. One of his famous quotes say, "You might be talented, but you're not Kanye West." We mean, his interactions with Taylor Swift and Jay-Z are enough to conclude that he thinks very highly of himself. Envy. Kim Kardashian. While we're on the topic of Kanye West, his ex-wife Kim Kardashian herself is also accused of being quite an envious person. Kanye and Bianca Censori got married in a private ceremony back in January, and since then, North and Bianca have been getting closer. On the rapper's 46th birthday, both were spotted holding hands, which made headlines. Fans assumed Kim was jealous of his growing bond between her daughter and Kanye's new wife. However, this is not the only time fans have caught on to Kim's envious tendencies. She once showed her fans a bunch of scribbled sticky notes on her Snapchat story. Turns out it was a list of all her enemies, to whom she sent a bottle of her perfume on Valentine's Day. Some of these names included celebrities like Taylor Swift, Blac Chyna, and Sarah Michelle Gellar. People also believe that Kim is jealous of her sisters Kourtney and Kylie. When Kim wore Marilyn Monroe's dress to the 2022 Met Gala, she was heavily criticized and was also compared to her 28-year-old sister Kylie. Fans thought that Kylie looked way more like Marilyn Monroe in her Paris Fashion Week gown than Kim ever did in the dress. At the end of the day, the fact that she keeps a list of all the people she has ever had any beef with is quite envious on its own. One thing we know for sure is that you don't want to be in Kim's bad books, or should we say, her burn book. Gluttony. Mariah Carey. The third one on our sin list is one of the most well-known and prosperous female singers in history, Mariah Carey. She sold over 200 million records worldwide and has won numerous awards including 5 Grammy Awards, 19 World Music Awards, 11 American Music Awards, and 14 Billboard Music Awards. However, she has also made a reputation of being a diva, all thanks for her self-indulgent and sometimes downright absurd demands. When she was asked to illuminate the Christmas lights in London, she made a very absurd demand, which was thankfully denied for safety reasons. Mariah Carey asked for almost 20 white kittens and 100 white doves to be released as she performed the simple task of turning on the light switch. In addition to this, Mariah Carey is also known for her luxurious requests like expensive champagne, food, and specific dressing room decor. She also once asked for vitamin water to bathe her dogs and an assistant to handle her used chewing gum. In our eyes at least, this is a prime example of gluttony. Gluttony is defined as an excessive desire for food and luxury. Mariah Carey fits this definition perfectly if you have a look at all the excessive demands she has made throughout her career. In fact, when she stayed in the Baglioni Hotel in London in 2005, she even demanded that she wouldn't get out of the car if she didn't get a red carpet decorated with soft white candles. We think this is a little too much even for the most successful female singer in the world. Greed. Simon Cowell. While gluttony is a desire to only fulfill your body's hunger, greed is amassing wealth through manipulation and filling your pockets. Simon Cowell is a household name, but for some people, he's nothing but a symbol of greed. People believe that he produces shows like American Idol, X Factor, and Britain or America's Got Talent to fill his own pockets, rather than helping the contestants who want to make a name in the music industry. Simon has also been accused of manipulating contestants on the show and using their stories to gain more views. Some artists say that he uses his connections and name in the music industry to make certain contestants successful for his gain and profit. And the fact that despite women throwing themselves at his feet, Simon decided to go for his best friend's wife says a lot about his greed. Lust. Bill Cosby. In fact, greed is not limited to money. It has a deep connection with lust. Bill Cosby is a perfect example of how greed and pride manifest into lust. He was once the most loved person on television. In fact, when Huxtables came on, the entire family sat together to watch the show. It was one of those programs that even children were allowed to watch. All in all, Bill Cosby gave every indication of being an exemplary person. He had it all: money, fame, power. However, it all went to dust when a woman filed charges against Cosby for drugging and raping her 10 years ago during her initial years as a comedy writer. Soon after that, 40 women came forward with charges of sexual abuse, harassment, and rape. Under the oath Bill Cosby admitted to obtaining the drug Quaalude to drug women. All of these instances have happened at different locations, including his house, backstage, dressing room, and hotel suites. A total of 60 women filed charges of similar misconduct against Cosby, and he was sent to prison outside Philadelphia to complete his 10-year sentence. Cosby had a sad ending, only because he let lust take over him, eventually leading him to a criminally dark path. However, if there's something more dangerous than lust, it's being ignorant of crimes and laziness. Sloth. Hassan Piker. In fact, the sixth deadly sin is considered being lazy. This happens to people who become too self-centered. What is right is often forgotten in what's convenient. People like these don't want to go out of their way and relearn concepts. They're never ready to accept that they can be wrong. Hassan Piker is a former Turkish journalist and a YouTube streamer who has been a lot of fire recently for being a sloth. People believe that he is a classical case of an arrested adolescent lashing out at daddy for providing him with privileges he would never have achieved on his own merit. They say that his subconscious awareness of his own inadequacies comes out through his pores as bitterness against the system, leaving him trapped in a cycle where he's unable to accept the validity of or even listen to the opinions of anyone he does not already agree with, and thus he's trapped, unable to break the cycle and unable to grow. Being lazy, greedy, and lustful all lead to severe consequences. It builds up negative emotions, devolving into full-blown hate for people in the form of wrath. And a great example of this is what happened to Amber Heard. Wrath. Amber Heard. Wrath is the biggest of all sins. Wrath is when a person channels all of the above-mentioned sins and turns hate towards people. The excessively publicized and unusually dramatic defamation case of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp shows how wrath can destroy you as a person. Amber Heard and Depp got married in 2015 after a decade-long romance. However, things started going downhill only a year after their marriage. Amber filed for divorce in 2016. Yep, just a year after the happy private marriage. Amber said that what she has been saying for the entirety of this case: Johnny is paranoid, Johnny is savage, and he made life difficult for her. Amber also said that Depp threw a phone at her and left her bruised, claiming that Depp physically and mentally tortured her. Not long after this, the two actors announced in a joint statement that their divorce had been settled, and the settlement is $7 million, which, by the way, she pledged to donate to charity. Anyways, the divorce was settled in 2017, but things didn't stop there. In 2018, Amber Heard thought it was a great idea to write an op-ed for the Washington Post, pointing fingers at Johnny Depp once again. The op-ed became the base of this defamation lawsuit. Amber wrote in the op-ed, "I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out." In 2002, the stretch of a trial finally kicked off, bringing the two actors face to face in the court in Fairfax County, Virginia. On the first day of her her testimony, Amber created this whole picture of Depp as a monster who tortured her and sexually assaulted her. She called him a drug addict. The gears only shifted when a videotape conversation came to the surface between the two, in which Amber accepted hitting Johnny, which was played in the courtroom. After hearing the closing statements, the jury of 7 finally reached a verdict. They unanimously found that Amber deliberately defamed Depp, and the court rewarded Depp with $15 million.